Welcome to SPBL Media Day. We are your hosts, Carson and Grant. Today we're going to be meeting the members of the league, those who will be playing in the SPBL this season. We're going to be interviewing them one by one and giving them some hard-hitting questions about this season that is coming up.
Yeah, Carson, I'm really looking forward to this. We've got another great season of basketball coming up. We've got a lot of returning faces. We've got a couple new ones, and we've got some that are coming back from a year hiatus. So we got a lot of great personalities coming up. Can't wait to meet them all.
It will surely be an exciting time today. Last year was a great hit, and let's not delay this any longer. Let's get started with our first interviewee today, Dave Quina. We are back, and we are here with Dave Quina for our first interview today. And we have some hard-hitting questions for Dave. You know, he had a very, very interesting media day last year. And so we'll be going over some of that. We'll be going into some of his stats in the league and what we're looking forward to this year.
Yeah, Dave, last season you got into some trouble with some things you said about one of your fellow players, Zach Kalifeh. It was pretty incendiary comments, really shook the foundation of the league, the fan base. We're giving you another chance to comment on that. Have your views changed on anything? Like, what are your thoughts going into this season?
Honestly, I would kind of blame it on the media, y'all guys. Blow things out of proportion, spread fake news. That's wasn't meant to be like that. Kalifeh was up there asking me to defend him, I think, at first, and then he jokingly asked me to come in. So I got people out there trying to ruin my image, but that's all right. I'm tough skinned. I'm ready to play. Don't worry about the outside noise. Just would just appreciate maybe more respect for people in the league from the media. I'm really just here so I don't get fined today.
That is quite the decision to come after the media right off the bat in a media interview. So we're not going to make things any easier for you. You may or may not have meant it. But, you have a new jersey number this year. You have number 14. And is there any meaning behind that? The media has an idea of what that number might mean, but we want to hear on record what your meaning for 14 is.
There you go. And that's a good question. I appreciate that. 14, that's a number that originally I was in football back in the day when I started playing football. And it was John Parker Wilson's number, quarterback at Alabama when I was a kid. And
Roll Tide.
And I ended up, play football for a couple of years. I don't think I was ever 14 again in any other sport. But Chris Quina, the league commish, MVP, it's probably in high school, I guess, splash squad. He told me to be number 14 because that's the number of David in the Bible. And I looked that up, and that was true. Thought that was pretty cool. So I was 14 all throughout high school, splash squad, been 14 in the league, been 14 in intramural, anything I've done. So, yeah.
That is quite the religious reason there. That is definitely not what the media was thinking the number was for. Almost the opposite, actually. But, those uniforms themselves, they're pretty cool. You got the green, purple, yellow, and you made sure to get a little bit of white on those uniforms. How do you feel about the uniform?
I think the uniforms are cool. I actually picked them out. Hunter came up with the idea for the Mystics, and Chris was sending me some unis. I looked myself, and we decided on these. Thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, and Dave, you mentioned everybody need to have a tougher skin. Now, you won Best Trash Talker in the league last year. Are you looking to defend that title this year? Or are you trying to back off? Like, what's your mindset competitively for this season?
Yeah, I've never been too much of a trash talker, but last year, I got into it a little bit with my cousin. We've been doing that our whole lives. This year, I'm probably gonna tone it back a little bit. If I'm being honest with y'all, just might have costed my team a game in the first game there, getting that tech. So just gonna try to be more under control this year, but gonna be competitive as well. And, just do whatever helps the team out. If they need some fire, I'll try to provide some fire. If Not going to try to hurt them though, giving out 3 points to the other team this year.
That's very team first of you and very respectable. Dialing back in that trash talk. And you said you're going to put the team first, give it all you got. There was a rule change this year, adding an extra timeout for each team in the game, and there was some comments saying that it was because of you that was the extra timeout. And I know you're going to give it everything you got, but it seems like at some points last year, maybe you weren't able to give it everything you got. Maybe you didn't have enough energy to do that. What do you have to say about the extra timeout now in this year's version of the SPBL?
I was actually calling for longer breaks, maybe shorter quarters. I thought that would be beneficial to the league. I had many good reasons I thought for that, but Chris shot me down. But he added an extra, I think, 30-second timeout. So we'll take what we can get. Hopefully, I'll be in a little better shape this year. You're right. There were times last year I was out of breath, but yeah, maybe do some sprints in the backyard. Something. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, say you're giving it all for the team, but this is your third team in 3 years. You've bounced around a little bit in the league, but you have played with Travis and Hunter before. Now, how do you think that chemistry is going to be moving forward? How do you think your team's going to mesh this season?
I think we'll mesh pretty good. Like you said, we were originally together in the first year of the SPBL, and we started off a little rough, but kind of going into the back end of the season, we kind of got going pretty good until Hunter got hurt. And we still almost won in the semifinals without Hunter. So me, Hunter, and Travis have been together and played well. I played with Neal in high school for the Splash Squad. So he's a good teammate, great guy. He played with Hunter and Travis last year. So we're all pretty familiar with each other. I'm excited. I think we have some good chemistry and be a good year.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so that is all we have for you here today. And I know you had some comments early on in the interview about the media. If there's anything else you want to say about the media or any questions or anything you want to express, now is your last chance to do it.
No, it's all good. All love. I just I'd appreciate it if you'd stop spreading fake news.
All right, you too. All right.
This is a family broadcast.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Dave.
All love.
Good luck this season.
We are back with our second interviewee here. This is Chris Quina on the hot spot right now. And we have some great questions in line for him, the reigning MVP and champion of the SPBL.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, Carson just said it. You're the reigning champion. You're the reigning MVP, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, and even the unanimous Finals MVP. Now, obviously, expectations are high. Your goals are lofty. You really can't even exceed what you did last season. You can only meet. How are you going to reach those goals?
Yeah, staying motivated after a big season like that. We're trying to come in with a chip on our shoulder. That's usually the way we like to play. We know we're going to have a target on our backs this year. It's always a challenge when teams are playing, giving you their best every night, trying to beat the top dog. So that keeps us motivated a little bit. We've been putting in the work in the off season. We had a little bit of a team change up. We got Michael now, so it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works with a new player. All around, just excited to be playing again, doing what we do, playing basketball.
Yeah, the Michael edition was definitely news across the league, and a lot of people thought that might have even been an upgrade over your previous teammate, Stephen Quina. And a lot of people were saying that they thought it might be almost unfair that you guys were getting such a good player after just winning a championship. But what do you have to say to the rest of the league who feels that the super team only got better this offseason?
Well, I think first of all, it's hard to call our team from last year's super team. Even in the championship game, we were trailing for 90% of the game, and it took some very clutch and fortunate breaks down the stretch and a great shot from Steven and then the breakaway by me. And there were some decisions made by the other team that maybe weren't the best that led to that win. I felt like the league was fair all season last year. This season, we're adding more players that makes the overall talent pool a lot better, I think. So we always try to make the teams fair. I think we definitely have a new dynamic having Michael. We don't have the problems we had last year with guarding bigs down low, so that'll be nice. But obviously, like Steven, I mean, one of the best defenders in the league, held Nate Smith to 5 points single-handedly and always hustles and made some big shots when we needed him, so we're going to miss him for sure.
There's definitely some give and take when you're giving up a player like Steven, who was so important to your team. But you did get a nice addition back with Michael, and it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic plays out on the court this season.
Now, Chris, I mean, you were the MVP. Were one of the highest scorers in the league, but you did struggle from range, especially from the three-point line and from the free throw line. You even switched up to shooting underhanded at some point. Now, what improvements are you making in your game so that you can actually hit those shots this season?
Yeah, it's a big point of emphasis for me. I shot the most free throws last year, but I also missed the most free throws last year. So I've been spending a lot of time in the offseason getting that better. I made some form changes that I think are going to be very helpful, and they already have shown me to be pretty helpful. So been putting in the work. Didn't have too much time between school and the start of the season, but I'm trying to make sure I can work on my weak areas because I'm definitely at my best when I can shoot from range and make my free throws when I get fouled. So yeah, been trying my best.
So no more Rick Barry free throws this season?
I can't rule it out because the Rick Barry worked decently well a couple times. I mean, it couldn't get much worse than my regular free throw. So, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, it's no surprise to anybody that you're putting in work in the offseason. Everyone in the media knows, and everyone across the league knows how much work you're putting in day in and day out to make your team and your own self better for this coming season. And you've really done a good job of preparing your team for this season. But I just wanted to ask, if the Scrappers don't win a third title this season, what do you think the reason for that would be? What can go wrong for your team this season?
Yeah, we've had clear flaws all throughout both seasons where we've won the championship. I think last year it took us a long time to really have a game where we felt like we reached our full potential. It happened probably in round one versus the Glass Cleaners, where we had a pretty big win. But even in the championship game, we never felt like we clicked fully. We got to be making more threes. That's a big goal of our team. We were one of the worst offensive teams in terms of points scored per game last year. Great defense, but we definitely have a lot of areas we need to improve on. If we don't win the championship this year, could be any number of reasons. There's a lot of good teams out there, a lot of people that can make big plays. Going to try to stay optimistic and hope we have a good chance to win this year.
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on it. You won a lot of your games through your defense. Your offense wasn't spectacular. I mean, you lost a great perimeter defender with Stephen Quina, but you gained a great interior defender with Michael. Now, how is your game plan changing? You've had Chris and Carson already for 2 years now. You know them very well. How is Michael shaking up the game plan?
Yeah, it's a huge weight off our shoulders to have Michael because in matchups against Nate Bryars, against Hunter, basically most of our defensive game plan was to stop those guys. And we'd have Heights float around a lot and play a lot of help. And we did a decent job a lot of games, but it was definitely our weakest area was rebounding and interior defense. So having Michael was just a complete, a huge help to our team. Losing someone like Steven, who's one of the best defenders in the league, is tough. And I'm not going to say which one is better, which one is worse. And we haven't seen Michael play in a year, but it'll just be nice that we can kind of focus on other areas of our game plan and not have to worry too much about some of those bigs. I know Michael will do a great job no matter what place we put him in.
And we touched earlier on the accolades that you won last season. You've had a very decorated career throughout the SPBL. And, there's some new additions this year that could win some of the awards that you have. A lot of people are gunning for you for some of these awards. How do you feel about your own ability to bring back the hardware again this season, apart from the team championship, but also, winning your own MVPs and Defensive Player of the Years again this season?
Yeah, I think the voting in the league, it's a lot like the NBA where the winning team, the best player on the best team usually gets the awards. So I think that's a big reason why I won MVP last year, even when someone like Garrett was putting up incredible numbers and probably will continue to put up incredible numbers. So I think as long as we're winning games, which it comes down to our whole team and our game plans, and I really trust in our team, I think if we can have that success first, that's how the awards will come. I think primary goal is just win games, and if our game plan works right, we should be all right. And maybe I'll win some more MVPs, but you never know.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. That is all we have for you for this interview. Good luck this season in the SPBL. we hope to see you defending your title very well again.
Thank you.
We hope to see you try.
We are back at SPBL Media Day here with Nate Bryars, and we have a lot of questions in store. We had some new teammates, some new uniforms, a new team name, a lot of stuff to go over here. First, we'll start with the team name. You were credited with coming up with it, and I guess what's the meaning behind it? Why did you decide to go with Black Friars, and what do you have to say to the fans about your team name?
So in England, Dominican priests were called Black Friars, and we decided to model our team off the Providence Friars. But I thought Black Friars sounded cooler than just Friars. And let me tell you a story. So back when the Crusaders would go into battle, right, they would take the true cross and lead it in front of them, and that's how they would go into battle with the heathens, right? So I was thinking the inspiration for our team name is that we go into battle with the Black Friars as our inspiration and our the thing that we're trying to aspire to for this year.
That is some great inspiration for the team name. Why Providence as the team that you would want to model after? You know, they're not known for having any flashy uniforms in terms of college basketball. There's a lot of other color schemes out there that aren't just black and white. So why them specifically? Do you have any ties to Providence? Any fandom there?
Not really. I saw their logo one time and I thought it looked really cool. And I feel like the black and white also is a mark of humility of stripping away the colors. And I think that's how we're going to approach this season. Is we're going to try to be humble and stay grounded.
Very nice.
Now, in addition to the Blackfriars name, you also notoriously have some interesting nicknames for each of your team members. Do you want to expand on that? How you got those names? What they mean?
Yeah. So traditionally, all Dominican or just generally religious order priests, they would take a different name than their own name when they joined. So that's why we're all brother something, and so that's why we're and so I chose saints that I thought were pretty cool, and I'm brother Takayama because he was a Japanese saint that he went around Japan and he was cutting people's heads off that wouldn't convert. So that's part of the tone setting aspect is we're going around, we're not taking any prisoners, although the Jesuits told him to not do that. But so all the saints, they have cool backstories. I'm not going to go into all of them because it would take forever, but they all have cool backstories, and because that's what I wanted to set the tone for the team this year.
That is very nice. I was talking to Steven earlier about his own name on the back of his jersey. And, you know, he's been a rival of yours in the league up to this point. Now you have him on your own team. And both of you are known to talk a good bit of trash. How do you feel about teaming up with him this season, both in terms of play on the court as well as your ability to talk trash against the other teams and get in their heads?
Yeah, I think Steven's a great player. Last year he played his defense was a little too aggressive. I think we'll tone that down a little bit so he doesn't get so many fouls called. But I'm really excited to play with him because I've heard he's been tearing it up from the 3-point line in the offseason, but he's a really good he's really good at setting picks. He's really good at rolling to the basket. He knows what to do. He's smart, and he's a dog on defense. So I'm really excited for him to be my teammate this year.
Now, Nate, I mean, you've been teamed up with Joe Quina for the past 2 seasons. You're back with him this year. Now, combined, y'all have one of the worst winning percentages in the league. Now, you've taken on the horse's ass both seasons before this. Can we expect a three-peat? What's going to change this season?
Look, I think the way that I think our team is better built than it has in the past. Like I think 2 years ago we were heavy big man laden, so most of the other teams in the league barely even had a big man, and so we played terribly. Last year it was I just feel like we didn't have any 3-point shooting, and so I think our team this year is better balanced. It's the most balanced that it has been in the 3 years, so there's no chance we take that trophy home again.
You said that last year, but we'll see how that plays out. And you said 2 years ago, you know, you guys were very big man laden. And Michael Roberts was on your team 2 years ago. He wasn't in the league last year, but he's back again now this year. Now he's on a different team, so you're going to be going up against him. How do you feel about going up against him? You know, you two have had some teammates. You've been teammates in the past. You've had some rivalries way back in the day, like 10 years ago, playing intramurals, battles in the post. How does it feel to be going up against him this year again? And how do you think that you're going to be able to compete with him?
Honestly, it's pretty an intimidating challenge because I feel like he's one of the few people that really challenges me to be better. And I think that I am the way that I am and the sort of player that I am today because I used to have to go to battle with him. Like when we were in the same PE class as juniors, and it was every day we were hooping, and it was a challenge. It made me have to do things out of the box that I'd never really done before, and so I think that's what's going to come into play this season. Is I think you're going to see that, especially when we play them. I'm going to have to do some things that I've never done before to get the shots off and the score because he's such a good player.
Now, this season, you've got one of the most anticipated newcomers with Sam Satterwhite joining your team. He played one game last year, showed flashes of greatness. How do you think he's going to elevate your team this year going forward?
Well, I think Sam's a great player. I've known him for a long time, and he's a very good ball handler. And when we had to play against him last year in that one game that he showed up and he torched our team like shockingly because he's a point guard, but he was able to get into the post and he was able to cook with post moves and pump fakes and spins and everything. And so I think he's going to be able to do well in penetrating the defense and hopefully freeing up like me or Steven and could hit us with a pass. And I think that him being able to drive into the heart of a defense and get points like that is really going to be key to our team succeeding.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes to your team. You said you have to be doing some new things on the court. And you've also been doing some new things off the court. We saw that you've started your own business ventures with some bouncy houses in the area. How do you think that's going to affect your ability to focus on the SPBL? Do you think there's any of your teammates should have any concerns about your ability to be there every game and be focused on your play on the court, despite what you're doing off the court?
No, I think I'm going to be locked in this season. I know when y'all interview Joe, he's gonna say this might be his last year, and we're one of the older people in the league, and so I think that this is do or die. I'm gonna try to go for career best in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, shooting percentage, everything. I'm trying to go for career best in everything, so I'm focused in on this season.
All right, well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck this season. We hope to see you not taking home the horse's ass. Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here with Luke Bryars, another great player on the court, the brother of the last interview, Nate Bryars, and he's on a different team than his brother. And I just want to get your input right away. I know you've battled against him before. How does it feel to play against your brother and also alongside your brother Josh this year? How does the family ties affect your play on and off the court?
It's interesting. I mean, I don't really have any beef with Nate, when we're playing because we don't really, match up together at all. But it is going to be very fun playing with Josh. I feel like we have a pretty good connection.
Yeah, and you have been known to be one of the most underrated players in the league. Before this season, during the team reveals, the Byron Big Board had you ranked as the 16th player out of 20 players. And I know, you may have felt that his rankings were inaccurate. He might not know everything that the rest of the league knows. But what do you have to say to the people who may not totally respect the game that you've played so far in the SPBL?
I mean, it's very warranted. I haven't had my best seasons past 2 seasons. I think that, playing with Garrett, playing with Josh, playing with Zach, I think we have a very good team defensive wise. I think we're going to run the court. I think we're going to shoot threes. Garrett's going to have his threes, so, he can go down low. I think it's going to be a very interesting season, and I think, we have a lot to prove.
Right. Coming into last season, one of your big requests was to play with the ball handler. Coming into this season, your big request was to play with the big. Now, you had Sam last year. You have Garrett this year. You expressed problems with being the main ball handler after the first season. Are you ready to take on that main ball handler role coming into this year?
Yeah, and I really don't think I'm going to be the only one handling the ball. Josh, he can definitely handle the ball. Zach can bring the ball up, and then Garrett. I really hope we can just play a good fast break game. Where handling the ball is not that big of a deal. Bringing the ball up the court, it won't be that big of a deal. I would say that is our biggest weakness, but like I said, if we can just run the court, then I think we'll be fine.
Right. One of the main criticisms of Garrett's team so far has been that they rely too heavily on those fast breaks. They don't run a great half-court offense. How do you look to mitigate that problem?
You know, I re- it I really don't think it matters. I think if we can just play our game, I really think Garrett can get down low if we need to. Me and Josh can hit threes. Zach can handle the ball. I think better than people think, and I think we'd be a very surprising team. I know we have a lot of haters. A lot of people think we're gonna be at the low end, but I think we could shine if we all just play our game.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I mean, there's going to be a lot of change on the court for you. The way that you're going to be playing, the way that you've played in the past is different from now. And you've come into the season with the highest odds to win the most improved player. And you said it yourself, some of the hate that they had in past seasons was warranted. But now looking at this season, everyone's thinking you can be the main ball handler, but now you're kind of deflecting that and say there is no main ball handler and you don't really want to do much ball handling. Do you think you can win the most improved player, or are you looking to just kind of fit in your role and do what it takes to help the team wins without really worrying about, improving or not relative to the league's views?
I saw the most improved player, rankings or betting odds, but like I said, like I really don't want to focus on that. I just want to, play my role, and if that means me shooting threes, me handling the ball, whatever it is, you know, um, I just want to be a team player for my team and win games.
It is great to see such a strong team mentality coming from you, and that is what it's going to take for you guys to have any chance at winning this. Is what it seems from the rest of the league. No one has too much faith in you at this point, but we hope to see you guys succeed out there on the court.
Yeah, I mean, last season, I mean, you've talked about how maybe you didn't perform as well as you could have, but you did have the second highest 3-point percentage in the league, only behind Nathan Smith, who was also on your team. Now, Nathan obviously took a lot of shots. Are you looking forward to having more shots available for you? Are you looking forward to being a bigger part of the offense?
Yeah, and I think I can make threes, and I think if Garrett can just draw the attention down low, you know, me and Nate Nate is a great player, probably the best player in the league, but he was a 3-point guy, so you know now me and Josh can we can stay on the wings if we need to, and if Garrett needs to pass it out to us, that's an option, and me and Josh I feel like are pretty good 3-point threats.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see you guys getting your chance to shoot with Garrett being such a dominant force in the paint. Now, to kind of switch gears, I have one more question for you. Your uniforms have been very controversial today as the league has seen the release of the Ball Hogs uniforms, a brand new name, a totally different brand. You got kind of a Miami Vice look going on there. What was the inspiration behind the team name and the uniforms? And then why number 5 for you?
Um, I don't know. I've always been number 5 since I think my older brother was number 5, and I just stuck with it. I've always been number 5. But when it comes to the name, I don't know. I think me and Josh really wanted to go with it because we were thinking about a good uniform, but it didn't really pan out, and we got stuck with the hot pink. But I think it's cool. I mean, it could be like you said, Miami Vice uniforms. So I'm not too worried about it. All we care about is how we play on the court.
I mean, I like the new uniforms personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, as a media member, it's cool to see some flashy uniforms out there on the court. We've had some other new uniforms this year that definitely are on the opposite end of the spectrum, being very unflashy. So it's cool to see that from you guys here today.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining us. Good luck this season, man.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. Here we have Rob with us, and he has been in and out of the league in previous years. He's played 7 games for 5 different teams across the 2 years of the SPBL, but now he finally finds himself on a team as a full-time member of the league. How does it feel to join such a prestigious league here with the SPBL?
It feels good. I'm glad we finally reached an agreement between me and the commissioner to get onto a team full time.
Yes, we're very excited to have you here today. And, your jerseys have been a hot topic of discussion. On the back of your jersey, I believe it says Bob on the back of there. And we've heard this from anonymous sources around the league that, the Bob stands for Bob the Builder with how many bricks you throw up in the game. And so I just wanted to hear what you have to say to those people who are doubting your ability to score the ball.
I'm glad there's haters out there. The haters give me strength, and I think it's funny that you mentioned they're anonymous. they're not going to really mention who they are because they know themselves they're not really throwing up that many points either. There's not a whole lot of scores in this league, and we'll see. The season will tell who's right.
Now, I mean, you've talked about haters. One of your biggest haters seems to be Dave Quina. He's said in the past that the best thing you've done for this league is quit. Now, you're back full time. What do you have to say to him?
I don't think I ever quit. I was always a substitute, which is fine. But I think Dave's in for a reckoning this year. He thinks himself as a big man. He's about to get worked, and I really hate it for him because it's the stat line's going to show who's the better player.
Well, and it'll be really interesting to see both of you going at it together in the paint. You are the only player in SPBL history to average more offensive rebounds per game than defensive rebounds per game. And so I guess that's going to be something that Dave has to look out for. But how is it that you are so proficient on the offensive glass? What is it that you do that gets you those rebounds night in and night out?
You just gotta play low and follow the ball when it's shot. You gotta go for it, whether it's defensive or offensive. But that's all you gotta do is follow the ball.
Yeah, and there's been concerns from your teammates, and the media is believing that your team might not be the most prolific rebounding team, but they're going to be relying on you for those rebounds. And so, how do you feel about your ability to go up against the other bigs in this league, whether it's Dave or Nate Bryars or Michael Roberts? How do you think that you can get boards against them? What are you going to do to ensure that your team is not getting wiped on the glass?
I think I just have a better motor than all of those guys. Nate and Dave, they just tire out too quick. I haven't played against Michael, but Nate and Dave for sure, they are low motor. They ain't got it. Second half, they're out.
And that was something we brought up with Dave, is that he doesn't have the energy. And there actually was an additional timeout added this season for teams in the SPBL. And the word is that it was because Dave was requesting for an additional timeout. He was requesting for some rule change because he was getting too tired at the end of games.
He, like I said, he has no motor. He's good for about the first half, and then after that, he's done.
No, I mean, obviously there's Dave, but besides him, what are some other matchups that you're looking forward to this season? Is there anyone that you're really looking forward to going against?
I'd like to go up against Nate. He's definitely got me by like a foot and a half, but I like to go out and compete, and he's some stiff competition there. So Nate Bryars.
Nate's definitely one of the premier big men in the league, but you heard it here first, folks. Not that great motor.
Yeah, and Nate Bryars' team, their uniforms, you may have seen them, they're very plain, very just sleek. They're not trying to do anything flashy. You guys, on the other hand, clearly have a lot of things going on with these uniforms. And again, an anonymous source from the league said that, quote, "These are the ugliest uniforms the league has ever seen." And I just want to know what you think about the uniforms, if you had any input in them, or the team name itself, the number that you chose, number 55, double nickels. How did you land on that with the team name and everything?
So the numbers comes from back when I played football. This was my number when I played football. And as far as having the ugliest uniforms in the league, that is a gross. Like, I can't believe they said that. There's three other teams in this league that have far worse looking jerseys. The Ball Hogs and
There's
Mystics.
the Mystics,
The
Ball
Mystics,
Hogs.
golly,
Yeah.
Mystics
I had a
and the
feeling you were
Ball
going to say the Mystics with that one.
Absolutely ugly. I can't believe they even. Oh, I would hate to even have to wear those out. I noticed two of the Ball Hog players wearing hoodies over their own jerseys tonight. So that just goes to show that they're pretty ugly, even if their own teammates are wearing hoodies over it.
Right. They're definitely not proud of the uniforms that they're wearing, and they're trying to conceal them from the rest of the league.
Right. If I was wearing those uniforms, I would too. I completely understand.
Now, I mean, you say that, but two of your teammates aren't even here. Now, is there something wrong with your team, Kim? Have y'all been practicing? Have y'all been working on that this season?
We have some high strivers. I get they're aiming high. We got one person that's in Italy right now, which is just understandable to miss media day, and another guy that's studying for a big time exam, which is also understandable. So I don't fault them for missing tonight. This is interviews and things. but we will, when it's time for a game, all of us will be here, and we're gonna play with some aggression.
You're not worried about their any wavering in their commitment to putting their best product on the floor. Maybe their thoughts are elsewhere at sometimes. You're not worried about that.
No, once the season starts, they'll be past their exams, they'll be past their trip. They're going to be ready. The whole team's going to be ready.
Well, one can hope. We're hoping for great things out of the Grave Diggers this year. We like the new identity from you guys, and we really wish the best of luck for you throughout this season in the SPBL.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks for joining us. Have fun this season.
Appreciate it, guys.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Today. We are here now with Sam Honeycutt, and Sam is back this season after losing a heartbreaker in the championship. He's got some new teammates this year. He's got Logan Shire on his team. You're teaming up with the two best three-point shooters in league history in Nathan Smith and Logan Shire. They co-own the league record for most threes in the game with 9 each. They have the two highest three-point percentages in league history. How do you feel about having two prolific shooters on your team, and what is your strategy and how you're going to play with them?
Well, probably feel pretty good about that. I think it's hard to feel bad about that, especially considering I cannot shoot three-pointers. So my strategy is going to be to get them the ball in open space as much as possible.
And you have the league record in assists with 12 that you had 2 years ago. You're the only one to ever have double-digit assists in a game. And do you think you're going to be able to put up a lot of assists now with this shooting duo with you? How do you feel that your play is going to be on the court in terms of facilitating that ball to your open teammates?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel like I'm definitely going to be able to do that. Feel like that's going to be my main job. Feel pretty confident about that. Hopefully I can get them. Got some tough defenders in this league for sure. A lot of physicality, but I'm trying to. There's some big guys too. Nate and Logan aren't small, but they can still move, still shoot. So try to get them open. Not only 3-pointers too. I mean, they can move inside a little bit, get some easy twos. Hopefully, many points we can get them.
Now, we've already said you lost a heartbreaker last year in the championship. You are the only player in the league that's not on the Scrappers to have played in both seasons' championships, but you still haven't taken one home. What's the game plan this year so that you can get over that hump and finally bring home the gold?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do it myself. Definitely need some help from my teammates. I'm not going to be the guy that's hitting the shots per se, but I think I do a good job at getting my team in position to make plays. Stay in it defensively. I feel like I'm underrated on the defensive side probably a little bit. But I think I've got some guys on my team that will really do it for me this year. Feel pretty good about it. Feel like we can definitely get back there, but you're definitely right. Trying to get over the hump, something we got to do. Just haven't had the cards far away, but that's okay. I mean, it's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, and last year you had Dave Quina on your team, and you two were looking to be a prolific duo, and the league was a little bit underwhelmed with the way that you two meshed together. A lot of people said that Dave Quina blew a lot of your potential highlight reel assists. And so how do you feel about moving on from him now this season? Do you think your numbers are going to get better? You do have Rob in the paint now. How do you think that he's going to be able to capitalize on those highlight reel passes from you?
Well, Daddy Dave's my guy. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely blowing some of my assists. Just quick anecdote. Remember one time we were playing in high school in the league in high school, and he didn't really blow my assist, but I told Dave to guard this guy, and quote unquote Dave said that is not my effing man, and got kicked out of the gym by Coach Carla Berry. But a little bit of that happened last year when I would say, "Gosh darn it, Dave, I need you to make that." But that's okay. Dave's my man. He made a lot of shots last year. I think Rob's going to make a lot of shots for me too. I think Rob's probably going to miss a lot of shots for me too, but that's okay. That's part of the game. I miss shots too. Everybody misses shots.
Yeah, that is a very famous story of Dave back in the day.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, you both are very competitive. You both want to make sure that you're doing what's best for the team, and you want to hold your teammates accountable. And now this season you're going to be doing it without him.
Yeah, I mean, we just got done talking to Rob, and Rob, he's looking to decimate Dave on the boards this season. Now, you've had your frustrations with him in the past. You say it's all love, but is there a rivalry there? Is there bad blood now that he's left the team?
Are you referring to Dave?
Yes.
No, I don't think there's any bad blood between me and Dave. If you got to watch out for somebody, I'd watch out between Robert and Dave down low. I could see some hip thrusting going on down there. But I'm trying to stay out of that. Dave knows if he comes in the paint with me, it's just not going to happen. it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and on the topic of rivalries, last year you were quoted saying, "Chris Heights, I'm never playing basketball with you ever again." And yet here you are.
Yeah,
You're set to face him twice at least this year. How do you feel your matchup is going to be with Chris on the court this year? Is there still bad blood? How are you looking to capitalize on your matchups against him this season?
No, absolutely no bad blood between me and Chase. He's a good guy. I just let my emotions get out of hand on the court. He is a physical player. He's probably got about 85, 90 pounds on me. So when he guards me, I kind of get thrown around. But as to be expected, he's on Chris Quina's team just like every year because Chris needs a physical guy, which, not faulting anything, that's just how it is. But bad matchup for me. I think that's part of the reason why we've had struggles against them in the past, but it is what it is. I've got some big guys on my team this year too.
Yeah, we were noting, your team's size. You bring down the average weight of your team considerably. You got Nate, you got Robert, and you got Logan, who's
Yeah, it's okay to say it. I'm a skinny ass dude. It is what it is.
All right. Well, we've already said that you're the only player in the league to hit double-digit assists. Now, nobody in the league has had a triple-double. You've come up close before. Is that a personal goal of yours, or are you just trying to do what's best for the team out there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not counting stats out there. I do like to get my assist numbers up a lot, but I get a couple easy rebounds off the bounce every now and then. But it is what it is. If I can get a triple double, I think that'd be cool. I think it's achievable for sure. I think I've come, 2 rebounds, 3 rebounds off of it. Not focused so much on that. More focused on just getting my turnovers down as low as they can be and making the right decision.
All right, one last question. This season, do you think that you will be in the championship once again facing the Scrappers, or do you think there's another team that can take their throne and you'll be facing a different team in the championship? And will you finally get over the hump this season?
I don't know. I'd probably imagine the Scrappers will be in there again. I'd have to look through the teams again to see who I think is going to be good. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm a little out of shape this year. I got in the lab last week up at Pro Health, where if our viewers know anything about me, that's where I do my hooping at. Got in the gym with a guy named Eddie, played to 11, tied at 4, and Eddie just absolutely waxed me. I was on the ground gasping for air. So definitely need to get back in the lab very, very soon, probably last week. Yeah, I think the Scrappers will probably be in there. I think we have a fighting chance for sure. I think we got as good a chance as anybody else to get the championship. If Nate and Logan are splashing threes, I mean, I think we're pretty hard to beat. But also, if you're going to live by the 3, you're probably going to die by the 3. So if they're not making shots, I could see a first round exit, but I could also see a championship. So who's to say? I guess maybe our viewers can say.
All right, I love your confidence, Sam, and we're gonna have our scouts get on Eddie real quick. See if he's available for next season.
Eddie, if you ever tune in on this, about a 6'2", 30-year-old black guy at Pro Health, hooper, definitely former high school, maybe low college player, gave me buckets. So Eddie, if you'd like to join the league, you'd be a number 1 pick.
So we'll look into getting Eddie for this next season.
Yeah, could be a future gravedigger on our hands here. Hopefully this video reaches out to Eddie and we can get him in on the SPBL.
Yeah, well, that's all we got for you today, Sam. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Good luck this year.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good luck.
Awesome. Thanks.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here now with Stephen Quina, a new member of the Bryars. He won the championship last year with the Scrappers, and he's on a new team now this year. It seems like there's no loyalty left in this league, and a lot of people have been questioning your loyalty. We saw that you also went on a trip with your girlfriend to Rome, and on that same trip, you were quoted saying, "I want to kiss the Pope." And so you weren't even loyal on the trip with your own girlfriend. How can your teammates expect you to be loyal to a new team that you just came onto after winning a championship with another team?
I mean, I think you can say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I put in work for the Scrappers. I mean, I was on the floor locking up doing the dirty work in the 100 million degree St. Pius gym. I face guarded Nate Smith for like 30 minutes. So I think you can get wrapped up in all the words and everything, but the product out there on the court, I think, is pretty locked in.
Now, not only are you joining a new team, you're joining the team with Nate Bryars on it, who was easily your biggest rival last season. Y'all butt heads quite a bit. What's the mentality going into this season? Is everything all right there?
I'm just ecstatic that he doesn't have to ref any of my games because honestly, the on the court tension was there, but when that man was refing my games, just maybe the worst experience of my life, just getting hosed on every call. So I mean, I think we'll be good because, like I said, on the court, you can kind of when you have a common enemy, it's a little easier. But not even the on the court, just that he doesn't have to referee any games. It's just a godsend from the league.
Well, you definitely lucked out with that one, I guess. And, it's crazy to hear you talk about your own new teammate like that just after we had a question about loyalty to your new team. But, we were talking about your performance on the defensive end. You noted that you do the dirty work, but there's been a lot of questions about your inconsistencies on the offensive end. What can you tell your teammates to make sure that, you're being put in the positions to make sure that you succeed both on offense and defense?
I mean, I've been up at the Bama Rec putting in some work over the offseason. Last offseason, I was kind of locked into the McGill Tool and Sports. So I guess that kind of hindered going into the season. But I was on your intramural basketball team. So even though I was hurt for a good bit of the season, I was at least up in the gym putting in work. So I just think being able to get up some shots over the offseason should really help my game and maybe be less of a football player on the court, have a little more touch around the rim. So I think that all helps.
Yeah, for sure. And, when you were talking about your time with Nate, you guys are both known to be very big trash talkers. And we were talking to Nate about the same thing, how you two are now teaming up, trash talking on the same team. How do you feel like that's going to impact your team's ability to get in the other team's head? And with your own trash talking, who's going to be the better trash talker on the team?
Personally, I'd have to give it to myself just because I think, and you can tell from our names, Nate just might be a little too Catholic to really get like down and dirty with some of the people. You got to kind of say some things that maybe you shouldn't say. But at the end of the day, with the trash talking, not even that I think it will help getting into people's heads, but I'm really excited to trash talk Chris this year and just see what I can do against him because we've seen him get a little hot against Dave in the past. So now that I can be on the other side, really try and get into his head in some games, especially, coming off, he's led his team to a couple straight championships. I think seeing how we can get into his head will be a big part of this year.
Right. And, after hearing your answers and after hearing Nate's answers, it's very clear that you two are on very different pages about, your performance on defense, your trash talking, and everything that wants to go on. So I would give you some advice and say that you should probably clear some things up with your own teammates before the season starts to make sure that everyone's on the same page, especially with someone who, you were quoted saying, thank God he never has to ref another game of yours again.
Yeah, I mean, you've just said that you need to play less like a football player. You've been criticized pretty heavily about your physical style of play, including by your own teammates. And you've drawn quite a few fouls. Granted, a lot of them were called by Nate Bryars. But are you looking to tone down the physicality this season, or are you still looking to, throw a body every once in a while?
Honestly, no. I think if anything, be more physical, just in a more controlled manner. Because end of the day, we're all grown men. So if you don't want to be physical, I guess quit or grow up. So honestly, that's a lot of what made us good is that we could just out physical people, and by the end of the game, they just didn't want it as much as we did. So I think being able to, direct more of that physicality in the ways it should be, rather than just ducking some screens. But at the end of the day, grow up because I'm coming hard, and if you don't want it, then I guess we'll just win.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about, your physicality, your defense, your effort that you put in, and there's no doubts about that at all. And just to give credit where credit is due, you did hit one of the most clutch shots in league history last year in the championship game. What were the emotions going through you at that moment? How did you feel to hit that shot and eventually bring home the championship for your former team, the Scrappers?
I mean, the shot, I didn't really feel the shot. It was kind of catch and shoot. But really what I was thinking about then was just playing defense because they still were going to get the ball back, and we obviously still had to score and win. But winning that game was great just because coming into the year, I had a lot to prove, getting thrown onto a team that had already had so much success. And people really questioning last year just what are you going to be able to do? And I feel like it was nice to be able to perform to that situation and, bring home the trophy, especially after that much of just no air conditioner in the Pius gym. It felt good to be able to come away with a trophy. But honestly, I think it gives a lot of takeaways for this year just because came in with a lot to prove, ended up getting it done in the clutch. And I think there's a lot more where that came from.
Now, beyond your physicality, you've also drawn some criticism for your offensive play style. You've become sort of known as possession ends here, Quina. Now, you've got more shooters on your team this year. Are you looking to change your play style this year, or are you just sticking with it?
Yeah, so I think that will change as we have more scoring around us. But kind of towards the end of last year, it was just more apparent that me and Chris had to do a bulk of the scoring. And while games where I was being consistent, that would help. But I think naturally, just having more scores around me will even it up because I feel like I can play in that team style. It was just last year I felt kind of forced to take shots in a lot of situations. But as we build trust and get a couple practices in, I don't think that'll be a hard adjustment to make.
Now, to touch on some of the changes again with your new team, you're going from the Scrappers to the Blackfriars, some pretty flashy uniforms to some pretty calm, collected uniforms here. How does it feel being in a new uniform this year? And can you tell us a bit about the number or the name that's on the back of your jersey? You have the same number again this year as you had last year, but we know that the Blackfriars have some very interesting names, and I'd love to hear the opinion on your own name.
Yeah, so the uniforms, honestly, I'm not too big on the uniforms. I typically, if I'm going to be flashy, it'll probably be on the court with something I said. But I believe my brother was some kind of mass murderer in the Middle Ages. And, well, he was on the run after killing a bunch of people and needed somewhere to hide. And, the monastery had a policy to let anyone in. So to hide from the authorities that were probably going to kill him as well, he went and hid in the monastery and just ended up loving it, stayed there for the rest of his life. I guess never really had a reason to leave. But, I guess I don't know if I'll be acting much like a brother this season, but at least, see some heads roll through the season, get some wins. I think we can take a lot from that.
It is interesting, both you and Nate come in here and talk to us about the brother names on the back of your jersey, and both of them were mass murderers. So it's really interesting to see how they were still brothers despite apparently killing many, many people.
Yeah, you even both use the heads roll phrasing and terminology. Now, it's just interesting to see very similar mindsets from two players who have been traditionally opposed.
Well, that is all that we have for you here today, Stephen. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck this season, the SPBL, with your brand new team, the Blackfriars.
Thank you.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here now with Michael Roberts, and Michael was in the league in 2022. The team only won one game. He was famously a teammate of Allen, and they both retired from the league after that season. However, last year he made an appearance with the Bull Blazers, and now he's back as a full-time member, joining the Scrappers this season, who just came off of a championship run. But Allen will not be in the league this year. How does it feel to be back in the league, but without your teammate Allen?
Feels different. Me and Alan, we've been best friends for a while, so we've grew up playing, and so it'll be different. But I'm excited to get some new teammates. Chris, great talent. Chris Heights, aggressive on defense. Carson, couldn't ask for a better role player. So it's going to be exciting playing with these guys. They've won 2 championships, so I just don't want to let them down.
Now, I mean, you just said it. The Scrappers have won 2 championships in a row now. You came from a losing team. Some people are criticizing the move because you were one of the more highly anticipated talents to return this season. Some people are calling it more of like a KD joins the Warriors kind of situation here. What are your thoughts on that?
I could see how it could be like KD, but hey, they ranked me 10 on the big board, so they obviously don't think I'm talented enough to be top 5. So I'm going into the season. I'm going to prove them wrong, and I'm going to have a good season and play well, and we're going to get the job done.
Do you think that you're top 5? Do you think that the media will think that you're top 5 by the end of this season?
I promise you, I'll be top 5 by the end of this season.
Now, you will have a significant role on this Scrappers team. In their past years, they've really relied on Chris Heights, who's a very undersized big man in the paint, and Chris Quina to get some rebounds for them. So they've been very undersized, and you bring them that size advantage that they've never had before in the paint. They are giving up a perimeter defender in Steven Quina and replacing it with you, a very strong post defender. And how do you feel that you're going to be able to mesh with this team and adapt into their defense and offense?
Yes, so Chris, he's gone over the playbook with me, and I like the way the offense runs, and defensively, I feel like I can guard anybody on the court, And so I don't think we'll be losing too much on defense. And also in the posts, I'll be able to guard those bigger players. But if I do get switched on a wing player, I feel like I'm capable of guarding anybody on the court. So I look forward to the challenge, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, one of those big men that you're going to be guarding is one of the best in the league. It's Nate Bryars. Y'all have a long history of going back and forth with each other. Are you looking forward to facing off with him again this season?
Yes, I love playing against Nate. It's always been fun being on his team, but there's always that competitive nature. You want to go against your buddy and see who's better. So we haven't played in a while. It's probably been almost sophomore year of high school for us since we played on opposite teams. So we've been talking about it, and I think we're both excited about the matchup. And I'm coming. I'm coming for him, and I'll make sure that he knows that the big man's back in town.
We heard about those battles back then and how you would always go at it with each other in the paint. And this year now you're wearing a new uniform. You're number 10. How do you decide on the number 10 for yourself this year?
Yes. So the number 10 came from I was ranked 10 on the big board, and so I just wanted to remind myself this is where I was ranked at, and I promise you we're not going to be 10 by the end of the season. So that's kind of my idea was going into it. Just remind myself that this is where people see me as on the talent level. So I know I took a year off, but we're still up there at the top, I would say.
That's definitely some extra motivation for sure. And Byron Main, the owner of the Byron Big Board that you're referencing, I'm sure he'll be seeing this and he'll be watching you closely this season to see where you move in those rankings.
Now, I mean, Chris came in and he said that y'all are all playing with a chip on your shoulder. Looks like you've got a big chip on your chest now with that number, but you did take a year off. Like, what contributed to you deciding to come back to play in the SPBL?
Yeah, so I enjoy playing basketball. I think last year I really, for my personal health, I was just not feeling the injuries were still kind of lagging on me, so I wasn't as 100% as I would like to be. But this year, been able to get healthy, and I feel fully healed and ready to go. And so I think we'll be ready to play game one.
Now, you are the oldest player in the league, and there's a 7-year age difference between you and the youngest player, Stephen Quina, who you're actually replacing. Do you have any worries or concerns about your ability to keep up with some of these young kids and run up and down the floor over and over again throughout the season?
Yes, it definitely the cardio. I've been doing a lot of long distance running on the treadmill, so we've been getting hard on the cardio. So hopefully that'll help me with the stamina wise, and we'll be sure enough to try to keep up with these young cats. But I'll bring the veteran play and be able to minimize anything else that would hold me back.
I mean, that's great to hear. We've had a lot of players come in here saying that they're out of shape coming into the season, so it's nice, refreshing to hear someone say that they've been working hard for the season start.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is all that we have for you here today. We wish you the best of luck in your returning season with SPBL. If there's anything else you want to say here before the season gets off, if there's anything you want to say to the haters, this is your chance to do so.
I just want to say go Scrappers, and we're going back to the top. I'm not going to be the one that's going to lose us a championship.
There you go. You have it there from Michael. Good luck this season, and we hope to see you guys getting a third straight championship.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Good work.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here with Gumbo Quina, and you are back on a new team this year, some new branding here, the Blackfriars. It's been criticized by a lot of people around the league. What do you have to say right off the bat about your team's new branding?
Oh, I wasn't really in control of the branding. I left it up to Nate. I was happy with how our uniforms turned out this year. I think we're looking pretty good compared to the rest of the league, and we have reversible uniforms. So I'm excited for that. But other than that, I just let Nate take control.
Yeah, Nate had a lot of reasons behind the team name, and he seemed very much into the Blackfriars team name. And you two have been together for 3 years, but unfortunately have not seen a whole lot of success on the court. you've taken home the horse's ass 2 years in a row now. Do you think that could be in the future again for you guys this year, a third year in a row being the horse's ass, or do you think that things are going to change this season?
I think that things are going to change. I think that we've, been through the hardship of the wolf pack. We've endured the heartbreak that was the glass cleaners. And, we're hungry. We're starved for success. And when you're playing in a dog-eat-dog league, you want the hungry dogs on your team.
That is for sure, coming from a dog himself.
That's right. Now, you were ranked 20th out of 20 on the Byron Big Board coming into this season. Now, what are your thoughts on that? Is it motivating you to just prove the haters wrong, prove the doubters that you should be higher up on that list?
It's definitely a motivation for me. I used to be considered a good shooter back in the day, but sometime between the end of my collegiate career and the beginning of the SPBL, it was just lost on me. So if I don't get back up to where I used to be, I could see myself retiring at the end of this season because I don't want to disrespect the game.
Yeah, Nate said that you might say that, and that he said he wants to give it all out this year to make sure that you guys go out with the best season that you can have if this is indeed your last season. And one of the things that a lot of people around the league have said that we've heard is that you are actually a very underrated defender apart from your shooting, and that you're able to pickpocket a lot of the ball handlers around the league. What makes you so effective as a defender guarding some of the ball handlers in the league and being able to generate steals for your team?
Just playing the passing lanes, and I always just try. I'm undersized in the league, so I try to keep players from ever getting the ball because that's my best chance at stopping them.
Yeah,
So if I can get the ball away from another player, it ends the possession there.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I was always undersized. Face guarding is sometimes the way to go when you're playing against someone who wants the ball. Preventing them from getting the ball in the first place can be a real stopper for their entire offense.
I mean, you have very active hands getting all those steals, but 2 seasons ago, you were one of the league leaders in fouls. Last season, those numbers went way down. So are you looking to kind of shoot a balance here? Are you trying to keep those numbers down, go back to your old ways? What are you thinking?
I'm trying to keep the fouls down for sure. I think that's a lot to do with the loss of stamina. Like you get tired out there and then you can't get out the way. I know Steven ran me over one time and I got called for the blocking foul. And I just couldn't move out of the way. I was definitely trying to, but I just got ran over. So yeah, hopefully I'm a little bit more lighter on my feet. I've been running. So
I'm sure that based on Steven's comments that Nate was not the one who called that foul because there seems to have been some animosity between him and Nate, especially Steven criticizing Nate as a referee, and they've had some battles on the court. And even their media answers today, they've kind of not been on the same page in terms of the questions that we've asked them. And so what are you going to do as their teammate to try to make sure that the whole team is on the same page and that you guys are really going to be able to work together to compete for a championship this season?
Well, I think one thing they both don't lack is passion. So they're both really into the game and they're both they focus on defense. So, just have to rein it in sometimes. I think I'm a good even keel person. And they seem to be going, we're going to have a practice coming up here soon. So they seem to be getting along well. And they're going to try to work and build chemistry together.
Now, in addition to Steven, you're also bringing in Sam Satterwhite, easily the most anticipated newcomer to the league from a long time now. How do you think he's going to elevate your game? And how do you think you're going to play into your team's dynamics?
Well, I hope he definitely elevates our team play. I played against him once last year. It's the only time he played, and he cooked us. So I was like, oh, man, I'm glad to have him on the team. Hopefully he finds me some open looks for three, and I'll take them. But, yeah.
So you guys, like I mentioned, you were the horse's ass 2 years in a row, and you seem pretty confident, and the media is pretty confident that it's not going to be you guys again this year. Your team seems to be very improved, and we believe that you guys have a shot at the title itself. But if it's not you, then who is going to be taking home the horse's ass?
Oh, man, there's a lot of teams that I think the Mystics got their worst odds, but I don't think the Gravediggers have a lot of size down low, and there's a lot of big players in the league this year. I don't know. I can see it being the Gravediggers. I'm just excited. I'm a fan of the league, first and foremost, And I think this is like the best group of guys they've put out so far. You got like Logan returning, Rob becoming a full-time player, and then Mike Robb returning. I can't wait for the Battle of Goliath. Mike Robb versus Nate Bryars. This is a rivalry that's been going on for decades. I mean, we're talking, it's been 9 years since they matched up against each other. And when they go against each other, it's a game within the game. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we've heard. And, Michael being on Nate's team with you 2 years ago, and it's going to be weird for them being apart from each other. But it is a very highly anticipated matchup, and it's going to be something that is going to be a very sight for you to see when you're on the court watching it and playing in that matchup.
I'm going crazy when that happens. When they get the ball in the post against each other, man, I'm going crazy.
I mean, I think everyone here is looking forward to that, and I agree with you. Huge fan of the league. Looking forward to the expansion to 5 teams from 4. I think it's going to be a great season.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming on our interview today, and we wish you the best of luck this season with your new and improved team. Wish you the best in your hope for a championship, or at least to get out of the horse's ass.
We're going to get some wins this year.
Is that a promise?
That is a promise. A guarantee.
I guarantee. You heard it here first. Good luck to you this season.
Thank you guys
We hope
for
to see it play
coming.
out on the court.
There you go.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here with Zach, and Zach has already been a topic of discussion from earlier today. We had Dave in with the interview, and there were comments last year that Dave made, and there's been comments again this year. But as a matter of fact, at one point in his interview, he was trying to blame the media for his own comments, trying to almost deflect the blame. How do you feel about his comments, and what do you think about him trying to, deflect the blame of the words that came out of his own mouth?
What, Dave?
Yes.
So Dave's over there deflecting everything. Oh, it's all him. Dave is the culprit of everything in this. He does all the problems. It's all him.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't agree more, and we were pretty shocked when he came into an interview with the media trying to blame the media for things that he said, and especially with
Blame
you.
The media, you're blaming YouTube. You guys are great. No, it's all Dave. How's he blaming YouTube?
Well,
Never had a problem with y'all.
we appreciate it, and we appreciate you standing with us in this moment of terror that Dave has unleashed on the league. And speaking of terror, you have some nicknames in the league, and on the back of your own jersey it says the bomb. And
It's a little different this year.
oh,
Bomb threat.
bomb threat. Okay, my apologies. So bomb threat. Can you go into what that nickname might imply? What it means?
Well, I work with Garrett, if you want to know that. I work with Garrett. And so we were trying to find our team names and all of our players. And he looked at me and was like, I was like, what should my name be? He goes, Bomb Threat. I'm like, Bomb Threat? He goes, yeah, you'll never know when you go off.
Well, that definitely could have a second meaning that other people would think of first. But I really respect Garrett's thoughts there. Thoughtfulness of coming up with that nickname for you and the meaning behind it. It really does seem innocent from his point of view, but from an outsider's perspective, it really does not seem innocent. But it is what it is. You and Garrett have been on a team for 3 years in a row now, and have failed to see any real results in the playoffs. And so what are you doing this season differently that you believe that you guys might be able to compete for a championship, get over the hump with the new team, new brand, the Ball Hogs?
Well, we're with 3 players we work with. So Josh, Garrett, and I, we've all worked together before. Luke's a new person, and he can shoot threes, and he can be a good ball handler. That's where we've lacked. We need some ball handlers out there, and he'll be the one to help us out. And Garrett apparently can shoot threes now, so he says he's like 55, 60% three now.
Wow, that's news to us. What? I'll have to check in on that.
Yeah, we got his interview's coming up next, so yeah, bring that one up.
All right, well, back to you though. I mean, you, as Garrett has said, you could go off at any time now. That seemed to be the playoffs. You shot over your normal regular season percentage by 8 percentage points. You doubled your points per game in the playoffs compared to the regular season. Now, what about the playoffs causes this new playoff Z to appear?
It's all about playing against Chris. That Chris Quina, he's the problem. So the Quinas I have an issue with, you can tell. So when I play against Chris, I play my best against him. That's it.
Now, did it contribute that Stephen Quina was also on that team with Chris?
2 Kinas on the same team? Absolutely.
So there is now 2 Kinas on the Black Friars, but if you're going up against Chris, that's only 1 Quina. Are you still going to be playoff Zeke?
I think so. And because there's only one of them, we should be fine. I think we'll win. We'll beat them head to head. We beat them once last year.
It's true. I played in that game.
You did? Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
Well, your performance on and off the court has been something to behold around the league. And there's been a lot of newcomers in the league. And we want to hear from you who you think is the most threatening newcomer, who you look forward to most playing against.
I look forward to playing against him, but Sam Satterwhite. He's going to be handled. I'll be the one guarding him most likely. And I played against him last year, the one time he was there, and he's a handful to play against.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's been a very anticipated newcomer in this league, very talented, and we figured that you'd be the one to guard him. You'd be the one that would try to shut him down, and we certainly look forward to seeing that matchup on the court. Off the court, we have these new uniforms, new brand, new identity. We talked about the name on the back of your jersey, but the jerseys themselves, you and Luke have both come in here now, and it seemed like neither of you were really too high on the jerseys. We don't mind them in the media, but you came in here with a sweatshirt on. You weren't even going to show the jersey. It seemed like you really are not a huge fan of them. How did these jerseys happen if none of you seem to like them?
Well, we weren't expecting to be this pink, to say the least. We were being like pigs, pink, but not to the point where I walk out in the sun and I reflect everywhere.
I see. Yeah, I mean, who was the lead designer of these? Who had the mix-up here?
Chris. Chris is the lead person on all of everything. We just picked out a different design, and it just happened to be this one. So the color was the same, but it was just the design's different.
Do you think it could have been intentional?
I think so. I think he's afraid of us.
I mean, even if it wasn't intentional, he is colorblind, so you leaving him in charge of graphic design, maybe not the best choice.
Yeah, I should have thought about that one.
But before we go, we have one last question. How far away are we from seeing Zach and Zachy Jr. joining in on the league, teaming up in the SPBL?
That ain't going to happen, man. That ain't going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I mean, never say never, because we've seen some crazier duos before. We got LeBron and LeBron James Jr. going to be playing together next season in the NBA likely. I'm sure at the start of his career, in his third season, he probably didn't think that was going to happen, but here he is now playing with his own son.
It's a little different now. I don't know. That rumor has been started. It is gone, though. We're fine. I know that he believes it's still true, but it's not. It's fine.
What a disappointment for your son, is all I can say. We were all looking forward to that matchup.
You think I'm ashamed of him, I guess?
It seems like you're just trying to keep him away from the league. We haven't even seen him show up to a game yet.
He's too young.
Now, you have a teammate this year in Josh Bryars who has some injury history. How do you feel about him as your teammate, and do you think he's going to be able to keep it all on the court this season?
What injury?
He had some surgery last season that kept him out for most of the season.
He's fine now. Besides the point that he's not here today, but besides that, he's fine. We have a group chat and he talks to us, but he's fine. He's fine.
All right, if you say so. But we look forward to seeing you guys leave it all out on the court this season. We wish you the best of luck in your third season in the SPBL, and hopefully the Garrett-Zach duo can perform better on the court this season than in the past 2 seasons with some new teammate involved. Good luck this season, and we look forward to seeing you on the court.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Zach.
We are back at SPBL Media Day with Garrett Brooks. He is the third member of the Ball Hogs that we have brought in here today, and I'm just going to get right to it. The uniforms, there's been a hot topic of discussion with these today. Neither Luke nor Zach were too big of fans of them. You and Zach both walked in here with sweatshirts over your jerseys, almost like you're not even proud to wear the jersey like a lot of the other members in the league are for their jerseys. What do you have to say about your jersey, how it came out this year, and about the name on the back of your jersey.
Oh, I mean, I like the pants. The full uniform is a little vibrant for me to wear in public, but I mean, as a basketball player, it's pretty nice. I like it. I got G Baby on the back. I've had G Baby for a couple of years now, so just kind of vibe with it. But I like the jersey. Again, I wouldn't wear it fully in public, just like because I feel like I'm going to have to answer a lot of questions. But for a basketball game, I think it looks nice.
Yeah, and it'll look flashy on the court and very flashy for you as you are statistically dominating the game as you have the past 2 seasons. You were third in MVP odds going into this season, despite being so statistically dominant. What do you think it's going to take for you to win an MVP? There was a big debate last season over whether Chris should have been the MVP. Maybe you should have been the MVP. What do you think about it going into this season? Chris thought that you could have been deserving of it last season. And you could win it this season over him.
I think Chris deserved it last season. I don't think I didn't really play well. I didn't carry my team enough. This season, I'm third. Who's in front of me?
Chris and Satterwhite.
Okay, that makes sense. No, I think I can win it. I just got to make shots. I've been working a little bit. I've been injured for a little while now, but finally getting back, shooting a little bit, and I mean, I feel like the shot's kind of getting there. It's slow, but if I get that, make people come up on me, I go past them maybe, or I feel like I can win MVP if I start making shots.
One of your teammates did quote saying that you would be shooting 55 to 60% from three this season, which would be, by far the best shooting performance in SPBL history for a season. Do you think that that's achievable for you? Do you think you're going to be shooting crazy numbers from three this year? Have you been working on it that hard?
Well, I mean, who said 50%?
One of your own teammates.
Okay. That would be nice. I played at the Rec and I was shooting 50-60% with them. I wouldn't say I can consistently pick that up, but I'm hoping to shoot about 35% maybe. I think I'll be really happy about that. But I've been working on it. Yeah, I go to the Rec with my buddy, my roommate, and we put some shots up, and it's been looking more consistent. I hope.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, we've already touched on you've been one of the most prolific players in the league, but you seem to have a certain Achilles heel when it comes to Chris Quina. He seems to kind of really shut down your performances now. First season, y'all met in the championship and he won. Last season, he beat you in the playoffs again. Now, whenever you're facing him, you average about 10 points fewer per game. Do you have a game plan to kind of get around that, to get past Chris, to beat him? What do you think?
I did not know that. That's good to know. But yeah, I think our lack of scheming against him, especially when we try and stop him as much. Like we would talk about how we can stop him, how we can limit his shots, but we never really talked about in the last 2 years about offensive schemes to getting me a matchup that I like or anything like that. Helping teammates out off the ball when he's guarding me. We never really talked about that. I think this year we're going to start doing a little more of that, and that can maybe open up a little bit because one-on-one, yeah, he's a good defender. He's tough to get around. So I think what we need to do is open up more switches and mismatches and keep trying at that because it's going to be tough to score on him. But hopefully my shot, if I get the threes, hopefully I can trick him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you say that because your teams have also had a lot of criticism for being too focused on the fast break. You don't have a lot of a half-court offense running, but you're bringing in two good shooters and handlers with the Bryars twins. Now, how do you think that that's going to affect your game plan?
Well, I like how you sneak in handlers because a couple of y'all went after him on the handlers. So, no, I think, especially you, I really like I chose Luke to be on my team. I requested Luke. And he requested Josh because they play great together. So the chemistry and spreading the court, even though it's not a big court, so I think it'll be nice for us. It'll be different outlook because I feel like just about everyone can score from anywhere except one particular person on our team. Yeah, I think it'll be a different outlook for me because this is the first time where I've had anyone can shoot from three, just about 75% of the team.
75% from three is pretty good.
No, 75% of our players.
to be clear, I did give Luke an opportunity to claim his role as the primary ball handler of the team, and you'll see he very much deflected that almost onto the rest of you, and kind of said, he hopes to not have those ball handler duties, and he hopes that nobody really has to. Now you can run in the fast break, and you might be able to do that again this season. You've always prided yourself on being a fast break player, almost to the point where one of our fellow analysts, Titan Henley, called you a layup merchant. And so I know you've been working on your three this offseason, and we really hope to see you excel in other areas of the offense outside of just the layups that come on those fast breaks and that you've been criticized for up to this point.
So what's the question?
I just wanted to hear if you had any comment on that.
Yeah, I think Luke is a good ball handler. I think Josh is sneakily can keep himself together. Again, it's hard to really judge if we have who wants to be the point guard or not. But when you watch the season, you'll see it play out. I think we're gonna switch and not see who's the best. I'm not really deflecting the question, but I think three guys can take it down and be okay on our team and be confident that we are going to get a good look.
Yeah, for sure. And it should be a lot of excitement this year with your new team. Last season on the Glass Cleaners, you guys didn't quite have the season that you were hoping to have. The pairing with you and Nate didn't quite work out as many thought it would work out. What struggles do you think happened with that? And then do you think that they're going to have a better season with Sam this year? And do you think you're going to be better off with your new teammates, the Bryars brothers, as well?
Our main conflict was one, our defense was trash. We didn't switch. We didn't do anything. We didn't scheme that well. And two, Nate liked to be down low a lot. And that means when he's down low, I'm going against, I guess if you do it in basketball terms, he's the 5, I'm the 4, And so I'm going against a 4. I think I need the ball down low. We didn't really get to do that too much. And if you look at the tape, I think I score on like 60% of the possessions that I get it when I'm down low and he's not. I just made the number up, but it may be right. I think that's what we didn't do well. Nate liked to be outside, and every time he was outside, he shot threes. So it made it a little difficult. I think it'll be different for us. Nate has a very good ball handler on his team in Sam Satterwhite, and he has a very good defensive team with Stephen Quina. I think he's pretty proud of his team. But we play in week 1, so it'd be fun to see what happens. I think we had a good addition on our team, and we got 2 of his brothers against him, so it'd be fun.
Right, and like you mentioned, Nate was playing more of the 5, and you were playing the 4 almost in basketball terms. And this season, you're probably going to be guarding some of the 5s around the league. Yeah. And when it comes to guys like Nate and Michael, who have some big size advantages on you, how do you think that you're going to fare against them when defending them in the paint? And do you think that you'll be able to get those shots inside that you were hoping for last season, or are you going to be trying to focus on your outside game when they're trying to sit in the paint on you?
We'll see. I'll try and get them on the inside. We'll see, and it depends. If Luke's hot, Josh is hot, there's no need for me to go on the inside. And if they're not, then we'll get our buckets the way we can. I think if I can make my outside shots and spread them out a little bit, get them about 12, 15 feet away from the basket, that's kind of the goal. Because Nate, I can blow past him, I think. Mike will be a little tougher. He's got some long-ass arms.
We've talked pretty extensively about the Bryars, but we haven't mentioned Zach yet. This is your 3rd season in a row with him. You've had your ups and downs. You lost the championship, then you won the horse's ass. Now, your team is projected to be pretty low in the rankings. Can we expect you to return to your winning ways this season?
So am I answering a question about Zach here?
Yes.
Okay. If Zach can play defense the way he's supposed to play defense, it'll be good. Last year, he jumped too much. He kind of grew some weeds on his feet. Was very flat-footed. Of course, I was too. I didn't play great defense last year either. I don't think anyone last year played good defense. But if he can go back to where he can, and he can not shut down a player but limit his options, then I think we can succeed.
Yeah, and one last question for you here. There's like you were talking about Zach's defense there, and defense is a big focus for you. You were once quoted saying that the Defensive Player of the Year award would eventually be named after you. And then last year, you didn't even win it. Chris won it. Do you think that you can get back to your ways of winning a Defensive Player of the Year award? Do you think that Chris has the defensive edge over you? How do you think it's going to play out this season?
It'll be a tight race. I think if I just play smart, don't jump, don't get tricked on things, and just play to where they can have a contested shot instead of giving them a free open one when I'm in the air. I think I can win it, but hopefully. Chris does play great defense. He switches well. He knows not when to switch, which is tough against me. But I think I can win it if I just play smart defense. And with Zach helping out, hopefully he plays enough to where he's in the running as well. He used to be able to play that way, so let's just get him trying to get back into it.
All right, love that. Yeah. So I think that's all we've got for you today. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck this season.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here with Neal now, and Neal has quickly become one of the media's favorites. He's got some great nicknames like Neal Sanity, the Electric Neal. What do you feel about these nicknames that everyone seemed to give you over the years?
It really only happens about 60% of the games. I think this year is going to be a better year. I think adding Dave and replacing Josh was really big. I mean, especially as far as rebounding. I mean, I think the only thing we have as a weakness is perimeter defense. When you look at our team, I mean, but rebounding should be 40 plus a game, especially if people are missing shots. I mean, but we still have Travis. Travis can play out there real well. But I mean, Hunter and Dave down low. I just can't see anyone beating us down low.
Right, and Dave was a great addition for your team, but I will say so far today, Dave does seem to have a lot of enemies, a lot of people that are going to be gunning for him when they play against you guys, and so I'm sure you're going to be getting a lot of highly competitive games, a lot of the best performances that other players can have because of their animosity with Dave. So how do you feel about that, bringing that kind of edge to your team with players not necessarily liking the entirety of your team?
Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, if they got a shit on Dave, so be it. I mean, we have options. I mean, if Dave's covered, I'll take it down to the paint on him. But I mean, who cares? I mean, when you look on paper, it's kind of wild that we're projected last. I don't know. That kind of caught me off guard because that was the first time I've seen that in about 2 months or so, and I forgot about it. And yeah, I mean, if we're not in the championship, I'd be surprised. I played, I think, half the games last year, and I think we only had our starting lineup one game out of maybe 6 or so, if I'm correct. But I don't know. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, injuries were a huge problem for your team last year. You were hurt. Josh Bryars was hurt for most of the season. You already said you've rotated lineups throughout the entire year. You took on Drew for quite a few games. But how did that affect your chemistry last year? And how is your chemistry improving moving forward now that you hopefully have a new set lineup?
Well, I mean, getting a year of Hunter and Travis under the belt, that definitely helps. I know how Dave plays. I played intramural ball with him in high school for a year, and I just know how he plays. That's why I always want to guard him on defense, especially last year. But yeah, I mean, that really helps being able to play with him before and these other guys. There's some teams, you know, they haven't played together, and I know some people are, you know, ball hungry. I know they like to say I am, but at the same time, my wild shots are just as good as someone's wide open three. So
Yeah, and you were fourth in the league in scoring and scoring average last year, so you really were able to turn it on and score a lot of points very quickly. And you said that Neal Sanity only came out like 60% of the time. Do you think that you're gonna be able to really be more consistent this season? What's going to take, and you think that you could be one of the league's leading scorers again this year?
Yes. I mean, I didn't know I was fourth last year, but if you're, I mean, if I was fourth last year, I'm gonna be top two this year. Um, three if I miss a game. I'm down about 20 pounds since last July. Um, and like I said, with Dave being on the team, there's a lot more like understanding with the ball with this four compared to me, Hunter, Travis, and Josh. Josh would just blow up random threes, but I don't know. I'm really excited, and like I said, I cannot get over how we are last in projections.
Hey, those were not the media projections, to be fair, to be clear. But something that was really interesting was, you know, last season, you guys, like we said, you were injured, and a lot of people, I guess, don't really understand how strong your team could be when it's at full strength. And, you know, Dave coming in is a great addition for you guys. And do you think you'll be able to maintain your health this season?
Absolutely. I've gotten a lot more in shape. Travis is still in good shape. Hunter as well. And I mean, Dave hasn't changed at all. I mean, I'm looking at like comparing it to last season, but just better because they don't look any worse physically. I've only gotten better. I still shoot basketball as much as I can, work out, condition. Like I said, I can't get over this projection.
Well, a lot of people have been commenting on their physical fitness at this moment. A lot of people are not confident in their physical fitness, and so you are one of the few that is very confident, it seems. And hopefully, you know, your team is able to really show that on the court and outrun the other teams because you are supposedly better conditioned than they are.
Yeah, I mean, you are currently one of the favorites for the MVP, but I mean, you're pretty low down on the list for something like the Defensive Player of the Year. Do you see yourself rounding out your game more? Of course, you were Neal Sanity. You had some high-scoring shootouts, but maybe the defense was lacking last year. Do you see that improving?
Yeah. See, um, that's what I was telling them earlier. Is that really the only thing bad about us four is our perimeter defense. Because I mean, when you think of perimeter defense for our team, it's me and Travis, and me and Travis, you know, compared to two guards on really most of the teams, we're not having the best time. And I've always been better down low or you know like mid range area. Um, as far as like someone guarding like someone like Garrett or Chris, it's going to be an issue up top. Um, but like I said, I feel more fit. I don't think you know Garrett's going to get as many fast break points. I don't think Chris is going to make as many threes. You know, get to the lane as much. But yeah,
I guess to credit your defense, I mean, we've seen in the past like Chris and Garrett, two of the top players in the league, two former MVPs. Neither of them are outside scorers. They both score the majority of their points inside. That might change this year with Sam Satterwhite, though. He's been known to shoot some threes in the past.
I'm packing all of Sam's shit. If I'm on Sam and he's going into the lane, do whatever fakes, then move, try to pass it, I'm getting rid of it. Let's go another way. We're scoring a fast break point, and they're going to be like, "Oh, let's try it again." Same shit's going to happen again. Same shit.
Is Sam the guy that you're looking forward to going against most this season, or is there someone else that you've got your targets on?
I'm really looking forward to all of them. I want to guard Nate Smith just because he takes the laziest threes, and I mean, you talking about not touching the net? I mean, or my bad, not touching the rim. That is straight net. Um, I'm pretty sure we beat them one game, and he still managed to drop almost 50 points. Yeah, I mean the percentage wasn't wild, you know. It's probably had 6 rebounds, but you know, like 47 points. You can't allow that. I mean, when you look at the guy, I mean, if he drives into the lane, he should be swarmed every second. I mean, he's not getting anything in the paint, not getting anything down low. If it is, then maybe it's a shoulder check elbow and he's making a layup. But I don't know. That was our whole thing last year, and especially me and Travis being outside, we got to be able to defend. Especially if we're playing man, everyone's got to be able to do it. But our perimeter defense is the only thing we're lacking. And really, I'd really say the conditioning, I guess. I mean, as far as all of us being, I mean, what do we play? 30 minutes, 30 whole minutes, 40, 35.
He's 32.
32, yeah. I mean, 32 whole minutes running back and forth. We're going to feel like Josh Hart's out there. That's everyone in the league, playing every game, every second. And I don't know that. I mean, as far as conditioning, I don't feel great as a whole. I feel better personally, but yeah, that and perimeter defense is really everything. You gotta watch.
Yeah, and Dave, your new teammate, he was one of the people that was apparently advocating for the extra timeout during the game, and now he has the extra timeout, so hopefully he's able to really sustain his play throughout the games, along with your own physical fitness. And but one of the big topics of the league this year has been the new uniforms, new team names, new identities, and a lot of people have thought very highly of the Mystics uniforms, the name. But I'm sure that wasn't the only name that you guys came up with during the idea generation process. Were there any other names that you guys were considering? Did any of them specifically go hard that you thought could have been the team name otherwise?
I don't remember which ones they might have brought up. I think it was some bullshit, but he had mentioned the Mardi Gras colors, and I was going to say Hornets, but I never sent that to the chat. But yeah. Also, if you catch me dropping less than 30 in these, the first game, slap me in the face.
I'll hold you to that. I'll be down there ready to do it.
That's right. Well, I think that wraps up everything we've got for you today, Neal. So thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this season. We look forward to some big things this year.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are now here with Chris Heights. He is a member of the Scrappers who have won back-to-back titles. The core of Chris Heights and Brazzy are back in action for the third year in a row, and they're looking to defend their title for a third year. They've almost kind of become a villain of the league, and a lot of fans and players are looking forward to their possible demise. And how do you feel about taking on the villain role in this year for everyone giving you their best shot throughout the season?
Doesn't bother me at all.
I can't wait. No shortage of confidence here from Heights. We have seen a lot of great defensive performances from him over the year. He is the league leader in charges drawn. What about you gives you the ability to draw charges so effectively when you're helping out on defense?
I think it's a combination of just defensive IQ and lateral quickness. Like, I played linebacker in high school, and I'm used to going back and forth. I mean, obviously, it's been 5-6 years since then, but the skills still translate. And yeah, I mean, it's just a combination of those two things, and being able to see the whole court and stuff like that.
Still got it in you. On the other side, though, you do have also the most fouls per game in the SPBL. So what are you going to do this year to try to, I guess, minimize the fouls, but also continue to maximize the charges you draw and maximize your abilities on defense?
I think it's mostly I'm just a very physical player in general, and I'm not going to stop that because it's fairly effective. But I need to be careful with my hands. That's the big thing. And when I'm going up for shot contest, make sure to go vertical and not go horizontal.
Yeah, I mean, last year, the previous year, you've garnered a huge reputation for being extremely physical on the court, especially alongside Stephen Quina, another super physical player. Now, it rubs some people the wrong way. Are you looking to kind of tone down that physicality? Are you looking to ramp it up, or what are you thinking?
I've been the same player ever since we started playing 9 years ago. I'm not going to change just because it makes people upset. I understand that some people don't like it. That's just how I play.
And
I mean, that physicality kind of led to a bit of a dust up between you and Sam Honeycutt in the championship game. He's gone on record saying that he never wanted to play on the same court as you again, but you're both here. He's already said that there's no bad blood between y'all. What do you think?
We've been friends for 9 years, 10 maybe. No bad blood. It's just physicality, and
whatever the word is for competitiveness. It's just competitiveness. There's no bad blood. At least I don't have any for him. I know he was quite upset after the championship game. I did feel bad, but also I don't think it was all me. Like Steven was also quite physical, and so was Chris. Brazzy wasn't, but I think all three of us. I mean, and it wasn't just on him. So I don't know. I think he just took it personally more than he should have, but it is what it is.
I mean, y'all are called the Scrappers for a reason.
Right, and obviously you're all very competitive, and it was a very emotional, high emotion championship game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Steven is known to be a bit of a trash talker as well, so I'm sure some things he might have said might have played into it as well.
That's possible.
Yeah, for sure. But you have a new addition on the team this season. You've gotten rid of Steven, and you brought in Michael Roberts.
We didn't get rid of him, but yeah.
He's gone.
He is gone.
He's not on the Scrappers anymore,
Correct.
and now you have Michael Roberts. And a lot of people think that this is a great addition for the Scrappers. Up to this point, you have kind of played a very physical role down in the paint, like you said, and now you guys have a true big guy on your team to kind of anchor your defense. How do you think that's going to affect your role, both on offense and defense?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure yet. We haven't had a chance to play together. Just hasn't really worked out that way. Chris was in law school, and I'm not exactly sure what Michael does. But we haven't been able to get together as a team. So I'm not entirely sure. But the idea is hopefully with his vertical presence, he'll be able to kind of take more of the load. And I'll probably be more on the perimeter. So it'll just be a matter of can I kind of not change my defensive style or change my offensive style, but kind of morph it to make sure we both mesh together. Not that I think we'll clash or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked a lot about how you play defensively. I mean, a lot of people are saying that you're underrepresented in the DPOY voting, but last year, offensively, we saw your scoring go down. 2 years ago, you shot about 27% from three. Last year, you shot 10%. Now, that's a huge drop-off. Are you looking to change your game, maybe take fewer threes, or do you see that as just a slight dip? You're going to go right back to where you were?
So last year, to start the season, I went 0 for 14, which awful. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. That's pretty bad. But part of the reason was because I didn't play basketball from the time that we like the championship game to the first game of the season. Like I didn't play at all just because I didn't have a court, didn't have a ball, didn't have anybody to play with, so didn't have a need or a want. This year, much different. I've been playing for months, not super competitively or anything, but just shooting around. My shot's much better, and no, I'm not going to change my play style. But I don't think I'm just going to go shoot lights out or anything. But the goal is to shoot significantly better than 10%.
And we've heard that you put in a lot of work over at Stotts Park. And, we hope to see that you're able to go back to your shooting ways that you were 2 years ago. But let's say, to start the season, let's say you miss 14 in a row again. Do you think that's going to be a confidence killer for you? Or do you have the mentality that this season you have what it takes to be that shooter that you were 2 years ago and you're going to keep letting it fly?
I mean, obviously, missing 14 in a row, definitely a confidence herder. But I've always been a very confident person. I like to carry myself a step above. So yes, it will be a small little kick in the shin. But I'm just like last year. I actually ended the season doing significantly better than 0 for 14. So I'm not going to let it bring me down.
Yeah, I mean, we've made a lot about how physical the Scrappers are. It's your entire game plan, basically. But we've heard a lot of other players talk about how out of shape they are coming into the season. Do you feel like you're out of shape? Do you feel like you're well conditioned? Do you feel like your team is ready to compete?
I would say, as obviously playing basketball is significantly different than working out or just walking on the treadmill or running on the treadmill. You're constantly starting, you're constantly stopping. So I would not say that I am 100% in basketball shape, but I would say I'm probably about 80, 75%. So I think personally, I'm in solid shape. I know Chris has been dealing with law school and it's been hard to, do anything other than school. Brazzy is in pretty solid shape. I'm not sure with Michael. I'm sure he's been working. He said-
Michael's actually said that he's in great shape. He's been working out pretty extensively.
Perfect. That's music to my ears. He did say he was working in the lab, so hopefully that means nothing but good things. So I think that we will have a slight advantage to start the season in terms of conditioning and such. But as every year as the season goes on, everybody gets in better shape, and it's not as big of an advantage. So.
Yeah, and all of that conditioning is probably going to help you again to potentially win another Hustle Award for the league. You kind of flew under the radar for a while, and it seemed like you were being underappreciated by the rest of the league. But then you were more noted in the awards category with the Hustle Award, and some people today have been really viewing you as a true asset to Chris. Kind of the Robin to his Batman, someone who's like necessary for Chris in order for him to compete for another championship. And so now that people are really starting to view you as more of a threat and more of an asset to that team, how do you think they're going to be coming after you in the game, either offensively or defensively?
I would agree with the fact that I'm the Robin, mostly because of Chris's fantastic scoring ability. It's always kind of been that way. We've always played together, and that's just how it's worked. And I don't really know. I'm not entirely sure in terms of like on the offensive side. I'm assuming on the defensive side they'll probably come at me and try to get me to foul constantly. That's what they do normally. But yeah, I'm not sure if they'll play me tighter or play me looser, whatever. I'm interested to see. I'm excited.
And now looking at the other teams in the league this year, they're obviously, like I said, they're going to be giving it their all every time they play against you guys. Which team do you think is the biggest threat to the Scrappers in terms of preventing your three-peat from happening?
Honestly, I think all of the teams are fairly balanced. I like Garrett's team, the Ball Hogs. I like the Black Friars. I like the Mystics. I mean, I don't think I personally. Again, this goes back to the confidence thing. I think we're the best team. We're the back-to-back champs for a reason. But yeah, I don't think anybody necessarily like speaks to me as they're gonna beat us.
Very well said.
Yeah, I think that's all we have for you today, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck this season. I know a lot of people are rooting against the three-peat, but we wish you all the best going forward.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We now have Carson Braswell in for an interview. He is another member of the Scrappers who have won back-to-back titles. He's in the core with himself, Chris, and Chris. And how do you feel about the core coming back into this season? You do not have Steven anymore from your last team, but you do have Michael now. How do you feel the change is going to affect you guys going into this season? And do you think you have what it takes to have a three-peat?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been thinking about it a little bit. Keeping our same core three. First season we had Logan. Last season we had Steven. Now we have Michael. I like what he brings. Obviously we're gonna miss Steven. I thought that we were able to run pretty quick with him. We all have pretty high motors, I like to think. Bringing in Michael, that really brings in a lot of depth interior and height. So I think we'll definitely be pretty strong on the boards. I think that Chris has always been such a good scorer and defender. He's a great two-way player. Heights, obviously, he's a big presence on the interior, and Michael is going to be grabbing a lot of rebounds and scoring a lot of points. So I like our chances a lot, and I'm ready for the season for sure.
Yeah, and it should be a great time for you guys. And one of the things that you've had in past years that you were very noted for was your sportsmanship. You were one of the kindest players in the league. You're always giving high fives, and you never have too much to say on the trash talking side. And last year, in this media day, you talked about how you really wanted to lower your rank in the sportsmanship category. And how do you feel you did last season with that? And what are you looking to do this season in terms of being sportsmanlike?
I don't think last year I was kind of chill most of the time. I think Scrappers got into a few heated moments, but I think for the most part we kind of kept it cool. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little chippy, but most of the time I try to keep it cool. So I think I'll just probably roll with that this year. No point trying to be too antagonistic and rile people up. So.
Well, we are proud to announce that you did finish second in voting for sportsmanship. So You kept your mark, though you did fail your goal of lowering your sportsmanship rating. But another one of your goals last season was to minimize turnovers, and you had, I believe, the league fewest turnovers last season, which goal smashed at that point. What are your thoughts on that? How can you continue that this season, and what new goals are you setting for yourself?
Yeah, I think last year was definitely good on the turnover margin. For me, I know first season Garrett got me quite a few times. It was always tough with him. I think this year I want to be more aggressive with my drives into the paint instead of just kind of hanging out on the perimeter. I know people don't really expect me to try and go by them, so I want to mix things up a little bit. So I do expect my turnovers will probably go up a little bit. But I want to keep it pretty, minimize the turnovers, but also be more aggressive with the ball handling. So, like I said, that's probably going to lead to more turnovers, but just keep it a relative, not too high, but just an acceptable amount of turnovers for sure.
Right. And looking at the shooting side of things, last season you were top 5 in 3-point percentage, but you were very limited in attempts. It's a very small sample size. You only had 10 attempts all year, and now you don't have Steven anymore, who shot a lot of threes for your team. Do you think that your role as a shooter is going to be expanded in this season? Do you think that you'll be able to maintain that shooting percentage that you had? And I guess what are your overall goals with your offensive scoring this season?
Yeah, I know Chris certainly wants me to try and take more shots. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. We'll see how it plays out. I feel okay about my shooting. I know some nights it'll be good, but other nights probably a bit of a liability. So I think just try and start off the first game, be confident with my shooting, shoot when is appropriate, not just try and put up good shots. I know Chris has been a proponent of all of us shooting more, so I want to take the load off him a little bit. I'm confident in Michael and Heights to help carry the load too. So I think it's just a big committee that we need to step up and get more shots up for sure.
Now, despite being number 2 in sportsmanship, you are still a bit of a polarizing player in the league because some players have, kind of criticized your game quite a bit, but the media has praised it. I mean, they've got very few bad things to say about you. How would you describe your game and where you fit into the Scrapper squad?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Tonight we've had some chitter chatter from certain people, and I think it really comes down to knowing your role. Personally, I know I'm not going to go out and drop 25 points on people night after night. I do like getting rebounds. I like I'm not the best defender, but I like trying to put some pressure defensively on people. Like I said, I know I'm not quite an explosive player like Chris offensively. And I think that I just need to, not try and force shots up, take a good shot when I have the opportunity, but not, obviously try to force too many shots because that's obviously going to be detrimental to the team overall. Just knowing my role, knowing that I'm going to be a good rebounder, pretty good defender, and just taking a good opportunistic shots when I have to, for sure.
Now, who was providing the chitter chatter tonight?
Oh, that's pretty easy to identify him as Rob.
Yes, he was providing a lot of chitter chatter in our interview with him, and I look forward to seeing you guys play it out on the court together. So one of the other things that's been a very big topic of this interview process has been the new uniforms for a lot of the teams. Scrappers have the same uniforms. You have the same uniform as last year. A lot of people have reasoning behind the numbers on their jerseys. Do you have any reasoning behind the number that is on your jersey?
Like I clarified last year, it's the only dinner for 2. So, we just love Team 69 all day, every day, baby.
That is fair.
It's about as nice as you can get.
It is very nice.
Now, I see you're wearing a golf hat, and those who know you off the court know how avid of a golfer you are and how well focused you are on your golf game. But some of your detractors say that this could be a distraction for you from your basketball performances. Do you see this playing a factor at all in terms of you not having full focus on the court in the SPBL? Do you think you're going to be spending more time on the golf course than you are going to be in the gym?
Definitely not. Yeah, once season hits, I'm locked in for basketball. I'm ready to go. I'm firing on all cylinders. I'm there for my team for sure. I might be playing golf here and there, but I don't think it'll affect my performance too much.
Hey, can't play golf at night. We'll see come league time.
Exactly.
We'll see come league time.
All right, well, Brazzy, I think that's all we've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. good luck out there. A lot of people rooting against the 3 people. We're wishing you all the best.
Appreciate it. Go
Good
Stars.
luck.
Thank you. There we go.
Welcome back to SPBL Media Day. We are here with Travis Wilson. He is a member of the newly branded Mystics, and I gotta say, one of the hot topics today so far at Media Day has been the uniforms for every team. You guys are branded as the Mystics. A lot of great compliments have come out about these jerseys so far today. But one of the questions that a lot of people have had is, did you draw inspiration from the Washington Mystics of the WNBA, or how did you come up with that team name?
Our team name came from the Mobile Mystics. It's an old hockey team in Mobile. They used to play in the Civic Center or the Convention Center. But we just really couldn't figure out a team name, and we thought about that, and we were like, why not? And we like Mardi Gras, so we like Mardi Gras colors.
That's fair. And number 11, can I ask you why number 11 specifically?
I've always worn number 11 ever since third grade Corpus Christi football, and that's just always been my number that I've worn.
Double pennies.
Now, and one of the big topics today has also been Dave Quina. He's on your team this season. He is also a bit of a controversial figure in the league because of some comments he made last year. Now, he doubled down on those comments today. You and Hunter, who's also on your team, have been 2 of his biggest critics over the past season. How do you respond to him joining your team? Has that affected team chemistry? Like, are you working through this as a team? Are you just completely putting it aside for the games? What's your mindset?
Well, I really think that we still have chemistry because David did play on me and Hunter's team the very first year that we had the league. But everything that's been going on with David, we're going to have to put that behind us so that we can go out and win us a championship this year. And honestly, he's my teammate, so I got to defend him. I stand with David.
That is a very controversial take. I mean, out of anyone that you could possibly stand with in this league, the media is definitely not a fan of Dave's at the moment. He even tried to deflect the blame to the media, and so we were pretty shocked at that move from him. Interesting strategy there, and very interesting to see that you are there ready to support him.
Especially as a former media member yourself.
Yeah, just fake news and no speech is hate speech, I guess.
I guess if you say so. I will not be the one to be the judge of that, but I guess you have it here from Travis himself. And so there was a lot of talk about, going from Josh to Dave. And so what do you think is going to change about your team in terms of your strategy, both offensively and defensively, with having Dave now instead of Josh and having really a second big guy on your team?
Well, we're definitely going to be losing a really good three-point shooter. But we're also going to be picking up probably a lot more rebounds. David's really good at crashing the boards, and then with having Hunter, I mean, I wouldn't doubt if we don't average at least 40-something rebounds a game. But Josh being gone, I love Josh. I'm going to miss him. He really wasn't there too much last year, but that last game he really turned up. I'm going to miss him a lot, but I think having David as an addition to our team is really going to help us out this year.
Yeah, I mean, your team has seen some ups and downs last year. The first game of the season was the largest blowout in SPBL history.
Yeah.
But then later on in the season, you won the highest scoring game in SPBL history in the double overtime shootout. Now, do you think Dave is going to help rein that in some, make you a little bit more consistent? Or how is he going to add to the team defensively?
Now, we shoot a lot of three-pointers. We miss a lot of three-pointers. I miss a lot of three-pointers. The first game last year, we were really just trying to figure out how we could all play as a team. It was really the first time we played with Neal, and Neal's kind of Neal's good as shit, but he's kind of wild with the ball. But what was the rest of the question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I mean, a lot of highs and lows for your team. How do you think your defense is going to change this season with the addition of Dave?
We're gonna have a lot more block shots and a lot more contested shots underneath the basket. And there's not gonna be easy layups this year. I think we're gonna be really physical.
Are you confident in taking the lead and guarding the perimeter defenders around the league? There's some pretty strong perimeter players out there. And where do you see yourself fitting on the defense?
We're probably going to be doing a lot of man. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to stick my dude real good.
See what happens. Yeah.
I don't know.
What else can you do?
I don't know.
So
make sure they don't. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm a pretty good defensive player. Like I don't recall a lot of times people scoring on me. Like I don't know if it's because maybe I guard the worst player on the team or what.
Well, I guess we'll see how it plays out on the court this year.
Some of our sources have been hailing you as a drastically underrated defender.
I think so too. I think that I'm very overlooked in that field of play.
Now, separate from the on-court play, you were voted as the SPBL member with the best tattoos. But there was an anonymous source that said that, he's too weak to get tattoos on his left arm. He is only a right arm tattoo guy, and he'll never get tattoos on his left arm. He's not, he doesn't have what it takes to be a two-arm tattoo guy. I just want to hear what you have to say about these comments from players around the league.
Tattoos are expensive, and I think I have about 4 bands on this arm right now, and I don't know. We'll have to find out. I think I want to do this one and leave this one bare so that I remember what my arms look like.
There you go. I mean, respect to that, and I guess that's a fair reasoning.
Yeah, and of course, this year, 3rd season in a row playing with Hunter Freeman. I mean, y'all have been one of the most inseparable duos of the league. How has your friendship, your chemistry evolved through these years?
We've been great friends ever since I can remember him, and it was 2nd grade Miss Bell's classroom at Corpus, and it was a dude with glasses sitting in the back, and I remember him saying something, and I was like, who the fuck is that kid? And I looked at him and I said, God, I sure hope that kid's not in my class next year. But I don't know, he was in my class the next year, and then ever since then, we played football together, baseball at Westside, basketball. We went to high school together, and I mean, we just we've always been good friends, but yeah.
A great, heartwarming story.
Thank you.
This season, there have been a lot of rivalries being made. A lot of people are really looking forward to playing certain players. A lot of them looking forward to play against Dave. And so I'm sure you're going to be getting a lot of the team's best shots. But I wonder if there's any rivalries that you have or that you feel you have, or I guess who are you looking forward to playing most?
I'm really looking forward to playing Sam Satterwhite. Me and Sam, we're pretty good friends, but usually on the court, Sam gets pretty physical, and I remember at St. Pius one time he elbowed me in the back, and this is time for me to get a little revenge for that.
And Neal was also saying that he was very excited to play against Sam Satterwhite. I believe he said when Sam drives in, he won't be having any of that shit.
No.
To quote Neal there.
Yeah, Sam, you're not scoring a point against us, buddy.
Some big words for one of our most anticipated new players this season. Now, finally, the Mystics are currently rated as the lowest team or lowest odds to win the championship of any team this season. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're wrong. Obviously, I mean, if you just look at our team, we have a dude who could possibly win the MVP this year, Hunter. He's been in the MVP talk for the past 2 seasons. He's been up there with Garrett and Chris. And I mean, he just gets better and better every single season. He's been playing a lot in the off season. Apparently, he's been doing really good, is what he's told me. I think Neal's starting to kind of get in the swing of things. Usually, your 2nd season around, you kind of get into a groove and figure things out. And I think Neal figuring out our team chemistry and stuff. We're gonna be able to pass the ball a lot more. We're just going to be getting a lot more rebounds than we did last year, and we already got a lot of rebounds last year. And, I mean, we came pretty close to going to the championship, and I feel like if we would have won that last game, we would have made a couple more shots. We probably would have won that last year. And I feel like our team is better this year than it was last year, and I just feel like we're very underrated, and I feel like everyone's in for a show.
Yeah, Neal shared a lot of the same sentiments that you had. And we are going to be wishing you guys luck out in the court this season. That is all we have for you today. We wish you luck this season, and we hope to see the Mystics overperforming relative to everybody else's expectations here.
We're taking home that trophy this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it, y'all.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to SPBL Media Day for our final interview with Hunter Freeman. Before we start, a quick shout out to our sponsors for today. We have Buc-ee's, Over Under, Fabletics, Under Armour, Adidas, and Ray-Bans. So to get back into it, there's been a lot of talk today about rivalries across the league. A lot of storylines have been built today. And there's no shortage of animosity towards your new teammate, Dave. A lot of people have been saying that they're going to be coming after Dave, giving it their best against Dave. And as you know, there were some comments that he made last season in the media day. He made some more comments this season, even doubled down on some of them. And so we just want to hear your stance on how you feel about your new teammate, Dave, and where you stand on his comments and the animosity that he's created around the league.
Well, I just say Dave is he's one of the hardest players I've ever played against my whole life, and I'm just happy he's on my team because that was the one player that I hated going against. Because like me, I mean, my whole thing is rebounds. Dave's main thing is also rebounds, and it was always kind of a dogfight every time we played each other. And I'm just glad we're on the same team.
So do you think the two of you together, both going for rebounds, do you think it's going to complement each other well, or do you think there's going to be some things you have to work on in order to make sure that you aren't kind of taken away from each other?
I think it would definitely be more of a
complimentary.
Yeah, yeah. What you said? It would definitely be more of that, and not more so of us taking away from each other, but whatever you said before.
Complimentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your team is incredibly high on themselves, but it seems like the rest of the league isn't. Y'all are rated last in terms of the odds to win the championship, but everybody else on the team has taken huge offense to that. What are your thoughts?
I firmly agree that we will be at least be top two. I feel like we are way more rounded all around than most teams. Because we got me and David who can rebound better than almost everybody in the league, and you got Travis and Neal when they are hot. They're one of the better 3-point shooters, and like I said, even if they miss, you got me and David down low. So I feel like we'll definitely be fine with that.
And on the note of your rebounding, you said last season that you hope to just absolutely crush everybody on the boards, and you did that. You had the first ever 2020 game and the only ever 2020 game in SPBL history. What about you makes it so that you're able to rebound so effectively game in and game out?
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the most athletic guy out there, or the fastest, or have the most stamina. But I feel like it's definitely got to do with my height, and I can jump a little high and stuff. But I feel that's something I can contribute to it.
Right. And so on the note of your performances, 2 years ago you didn't have many awards in the league, but then last season, or you won the Most Improved Player award in that season. Then you won the Most Improved Player award again last season. So back-to-back Most Improved Player awards. And the real question that everyone has is, could you possibly win a third straight Most Improved Player award? How much can one player really improve in their lifetime?
Well, I really would like to, because this past offseason I played in our company basketball league, and I averaged about like 20 points a game, and I kind of was trying to fill it around. This was about a month ago. So I feel like I'm starting to figure out things more and more every day, and that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah, so one of the big detractors for your game, and honestly for your team as a whole last season, was your physical fitness. It seemed like y'all got gassed really early on in games. Do you think that playing in this company league has helped prepare you for this season? Are you in season, like mid-season form right now?
I'd like to say so, but like I said, it's been like a month since I played back. But I feel like it definitely helped me out, and it most likely contributed to being better than not playing at all. But I feel like stamina is definitely going to be might be a little bit of our downfall. But I feel like with defense and team effort, we'll definitely overcome all of it.
Yeah, Neal definitely thought he was in great shape personally. And you do have Dave, who was also noted to get tired towards the end of the games, and he was noted to have put in a request for the league to add another timeout or change the format in some way so that he could be more effective late in games. And there was another timeout added to the league, so hopefully it does go a long way in helping y'all to ensure that you have that stamina at the end of the games to finish off the job. Moving on to the next question. So just like you won Most Improved Player back-to-back, you've also been the back-to-back Sportsmanship Award winner. And last season, a lot of people thought it was going to be a close vote, but you won in blowout fashion. It was like 11-2, I believe, was the voting. So really, does anyone else have a chance to defeat you in the Sportsmanship Award, or should it just be named the Hunter Freeman Sportsmanship Award going forward?
Well, honestly, I try to be a nice person out there. I don't try to hurt anybody's feelings or anything like that. And I mean, everybody's we play with a lot of good basketball players out there, and at the end of it, I'm trying to be myself,
Yeah, and as I mentioned, there are a lot of rivalries. I'm sure you don't have any animosity towards anyone in the league, but if I could ask you, who is the one player or maybe one team that you're looking forward to playing against the most this season?
I'll probably say Garrison because we played Garrison first last year, and they beat the crap out of us. And I'm not gonna lie, it was fully based off his stamina. Because I don't know if you've seen Garrett. I mean, I know everybody here has seen Garrett play, but he likes to do a lot of fast breaks, and I really want to be able to contain that because I feel like last year we played him. We did kind of have a cheat there because we had Drew Bushman, and he helped us out tremendously in that little spill there. But I just would like to be able to contain Garrett on our own, and if not, I would like to capitalize more on the missed shots and make better shot attempts.
So you've been one of the top MVP vote getters for the past few seasons, but it's been pretty clearly Garrett and Chris's race. One of the big pushes that I think people, including myself, would like to see from you moving forward would be to become a bigger part of your team's offense. You've scored quite a few points. You had the 2020 game. You got plenty of boards. But it doesn't seem like you take over in the paint as well as you could. Do you think that you're going to be improving on that in the season? Do you see your role in the offense changing or increasing this season?
Well, absolutely. I just want to remind everybody that I'm trying to be as much a team player as I possibly can be. And I don't want to be a ball hog or anything. And, if it's not my game, it's not my game. But I also want to make sure that we continue to try to put forth a foot towards the right path and stuff. And I just want to put everybody on my team in the best position to win the game.
That's a very team first attitude of you. Now moving to off the court stuff, we've been talking a lot about the new uniforms. A lot of people have liked your uniforms that you came out with, and the numbers have been a hot topic for everybody. Why the number 9 for you?
Honestly, because of Drew Brees from the Saints. That's always been my number. I was a big Saints fan growing up, and I still am, even though they're not that good. But number 9 is specifically because of Drew Brees.
Yeah, and another off the court type of thing. You were voted as the league's leader in beers housed, and you also won the media award for drunkest interviewee. And so I just want to see if you have anything to say about your ability to just house beers and how you compare to the rest of the league.
I mean, I definitely think I'm up there. I can drink. I feel like I can drink everybody down the drain for sure. But Robert definitely is probably in a close second place, maybe, and beat me. I don't know if y'all saw him getting a stroke and drive.
I think we interviewed Rob too early for him to take home that title.
Yeah. We were able to hear a lot of things from others talking about Rob and his overall actions and things that he said today.
Now, finally, we've talked about some of your other teammates. We talked about Neal, talked about Dave, but we haven't talked about Travis. You've been on the same team as him for 3 years. Y'all have shown great chemistry. We had great friendship. What has having Travis on the team for these past 3 years meant for you? How's it helped your game?
I mean, he's a very good sport about everything, and like I say, he's my roommate. He's been like a good friend of mine since I was 7 years old, and I feel like he might have a couple things to work on, but he also has a couple things that he needs to teach us about. I mean, he can shoot the clutch shots. He can get hot sometimes. He can get cold, but I mean, everybody else can do the same thing. And I just feel like all in all, he's a very good player, and I really hope that he proves a lot of people wrong this year.
Good.
We hope so too.
Yeah. And so I think that's all we have for you today. Thank you for coming and joining us. And we really look forward to having a great season this year. We wish you luck in the SPBL in year 3 with your new brand, the Mystics. And that wraps up all the interviews that we will be having for today for SPBL Media Day. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to a fantastic season coming up of the SPBL in 2024.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Looking forward to this great season of basketball.